Pagefire first video essay, let's go! Hello and welcome to Pagefire. Today's subject, lyric videos. They are videos with lyrics in them. It's a book with a soundtrack. It's a lyric video. A lyric video is, you know what that is since you clicked on this video. The lyric video is a fascinating artifact in the music ecosystem. For many people who grew up with YouTube, when they think about a lyric video, they will obviously think about the Windows Movie Maker style lyric video. The one with the default black background and Arial white text. You know, like this one, basic, boring, and with text in the void. This was mainly because in the early days of YouTube, people just wanted music in the background in a separate tab while they were playing dress-up games or reading fanfiction. And therefore people didn't care how the video looked. Though there was a chance that people actually did want to know what the lyrics were to the songs they really liked. So you wouldn't have to Google the song and hope that it was an easy lyric page or hope that the Genius page wasn't vandalized. So having something simple was actually optimal for people who wanted to learn the words while also listening to the song. At the same time. Lyric videos strike that perfect balance of listening while reading. So it's not like a Disney sing-along video where you have a Mickey Mouse head bouncing on the words, and it's not like a music video with the lyrics hard-coded into them so your mind gets like double occupied by the two visuals fighting for your attention. The lyric video format is a little different from that. So for this video I want to give you a brief history of the lyric video while also showing you how it's evolved to its own art form. Then we're gonna take that knowledge and see how you can apply that to make your own lyric video. I'm a video editor, by the way. I made lyric videos like this. And this. And usually when I'm editing, I never think about how I want to visualize the text or how I can present the text. Like I never properly think of what will work well. So my goal is to see what we can learn from design philosophy. But first, part 1, a brief history. Interestingly, the first instance of the lyric video came from Bob Dylan.
John is in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement thinking about the government.
In 1965, Bobby Dylan went on a tour to England. His first mistake. While he was there, D.A. Pennebaker worked on a documentary about him there called Don't Look Back. Ah, shit. The beginning of the film features Dylan holding cue cards in an alley, where each cue card has a word from the song Subterranean Homesick Blues. Now there's a lot we could focus on because this single section contains the most important mark in music history. Because not only is this technically the first rap song, but it's also the first music video and lyric video. Talk about a triple combo. The visuals of this video is Robert Dylan holding a cue cards that are taken down with each word being matched to the song. Of course it's not the whole lyrics, but there's enough there to make it easier to pay attention to the text. Robert Dylan and his team were definitely onto something when it came to displaying the text with the song. Not like a song booklet, but as something else. Something more artistic. Let's time travel from 65 to 85 and whoa, we're in the 80s and it's gnarly and radical. There's big perm hair, there's cool jacket, the mall economy hasn't crashed yet, and Ronald Reagan is helping CIA sell crack to low-income neighborhoods. Oh no. Oh wait, that's not fun. Man, the 80s kinda suck. But anyway, music. Music in the 80s were pretty epic. We had hair metal, we had thrash metal, we had hardcore punk, and of course the soundtrack to Footloose. And you know what they say about guys with loose feet? They lose their shoes a lot. I'm keeping that joke in. All promoted on MTV, which currently rebranded to BMTV, Barely Music Television. With MTV, there was a rise of promoting your music with a video on TV, hence music video. There's a lot we could go over, but we're gonna focus on one video, Sign of the Times by Prince. The music video was done by J. Flora Katz and Susan Silverman with director Bill Connersman to make a music video with graphics. The video contains flashes and patterns that are matched to the song, but also words. I mean, lyrics. Unlike Dilly Dillon that only highlighted a few words and now we actually have Disney singing along with that bouncy mouse head, Prince doesn't rely on you to sing with the lyrics on the screen. Like he doesn't rely on you to sing along, so instead the lyrics are used as something more artistic. Having the lyrics on screen allows them to stand out on its own so you don't need to choreograph a performance. or even tell a storyline for a music video. This made it easier to pay attention to the song's message about drugs and addiction. It's very fancy. And then George Michael. In 1990, George Michael released his second solo record, Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1, which included the single Praying for Times. And because he wanted people to take it seriously, he refused to make an actual music video for the song. So whoever's in charge was just like, how do we promote it on TV then, George? So director Michael Borowski made an experimental video that was just a white text in a black void, kinda like every Windows Movie Maker. Hold on. You know, like this one. Basic, boring, and with text in the void. Foreshadowed. Gotcha. What's interesting about this video is how it depicts the text. Unlike Prince, that's kinda like has distracting shapes all around, this video has a text in focus. Unlike Prince, there's nothing fancy, nothing distracting, it's just the text with the song. So what's interesting about these videos is how fundamental both of these videos became in displaying the text. With dynamic visuals and animation, with stripped down visuals and nothingness. A music video could display its ideas with visuals or cinematic language and storytelling, but using the text as its main driving point creates a direct connection from the song to the viewer. You can read along, sing along, or finally understand what the text is about. Because with a lyric video, it's not about subtext, it's about text. Part 2. Rise of the lyric video. Fast forward to 2005 and YouTube is born. And a lot of important shit happened here. Some guy made a dick joke that made people have sponsors outside the platform, making its hellhole a viable source of income, but only if you get 1 million views a day. All with a dash of suffering, PTSD from video editors crashing, and just a sprinkle of parasocial drama. But anyway, music. Whether if it was inspired by one of these 3 examples, people started making lyric videos for YouTube using Windows Movie Maker. With simple, moving, misspelled words with text in the center and low bitrate 240p quality song. For many people using YouTube, this became a free way of listening to music. Spotify wasn't around to ruin streaming revenue yet, iTunes could get too expensive for some people, and Napster got sued to death. Thanks, Lars! But for a casual listener, it was just easier to go on YouTube, search for a song and listen to it there, and the lyrics served as a nice bonus. It's like a new way of listening to a CD before buying it, except why would you buy it when you can just listen to it for free? And then the record labels noticed, not only that there were bootleg uploads, but bootleg uploads with lyrics on them. Record labels realized they could be doing more to monetize the music they own and started cracking down on these YouTube videos. So if you're watching even a tutorial on how to style your hair like a scene kid with Avenged Sevenfold blasting in the background, they will get that streaming revenue. Lyric videos crystallized as something to present in a more artistic manner as the art of music promotion evolved on the internet. Now it's almost expected when a band or an artist is releasing new music, there's gonna be a couple of music videos and at least 1 lyric video. So in their mind, if there's gonna be uploads of the song on YouTube, they might as well be official. And we'll throw the lyrics in there just because. The thing about a music video is that it takes time, energy, and money to make. Even if a band is playing in a white void or in a parking garage somewhere, it takes basic understanding of cinematography, directing, editing, and a whole cast and crew to help things around. This kind of music video can take several weeks of planning with a whole stressful day of filming, and can be a big financial investment for a band just starting out. So the lyric videos are in fact interesting and great way for artists to promote themselves online. If you know how to use a video editor and has a basic understanding of graphic design rule, then you can make a lyric video. There are a couple of ways to make a lyric video, but the most basic one is textured background with text animated to the song front and center, intercut with band photo or album cover. The animation can be as simple as a PowerPoint presentation or as a full-on animation with custom graphics. You could use the lyric video to tell jokes in a way you wouldn't be able to do with a regular music video. Often with custom graphics lets you visualize the jokes in a simple manner. But the rulers of the lyric video are the Vocaloid community, who just orders a single graphic of a character and animates the text around it. It is genuinely an impressive feat of animation. We now have an infinite examples of how to animate a lyric video, but what if you just want to keep it simple? That's what we're here to do. So my partner, who's the one who wrote most of the script, would like to say...
Hi, I wrote most of the script. I also really like watching lyric videos and thinking about what was done really well with them and how they could be improved. Go ahead and share some examples, my darling.
Will do, my love. Take for example the official lyrics video for Every Day by Ariana Grande featuring Future. I know this is a metal channel, but there's some really good examples to point out here, so just stick with me. This is an example of an exceptionally done lyric video. There's a limited color palette, so it's easy to read the words across the screen. The words are easy to read because there's good contrast of color in the video, and because the words are consistently showing up in the same way, in the lower third of the video. Even though this is a lyric video with a much more higher production value, the beauty of it is where it's kept simple. Another example is a lyric video nailed by the Hammer of Frankenstein by Lordi, with cool graphic visual elements and a comic book aesthetic. The main thing that could be improved here is that in the chorus there's low visual contrast, which makes it really hard to read the words on screen. And what's the point of a lyric video if you can't read the words? Part 3. How to make the words readable. So you want to make a lyric video, so what do you need? 1. Music. Obviously. 2. Some kind of editing program. Obviously. So what do you need to keep in mind when you're making the video? Accessibility. Obviously. It's of course important to keep in mind the rules of basic graphic design when making engaging and entertaining videos. But the number one rule of priority should be to make the words readable. If someone with limited vision can't read it and someone with delayed processing can't process it, you made a bad video. Go to editing jail. A good example of something you want to avoid doing is the lyric video Bet Du Shove It Down by Powerful. There's good limited color palette with consistent word animation, but where it falls short is how the words show up on screen. As each line is sung, the corresponding words show up completely out of focus and takes their sweet time snapping out of focus. It's a cool visual effect, like once or twice, but it gets played over and over and over, and it's a little bit too much. And it's not helped by the fact that the song is in French. Not in a easy punchline about French people kind of way, but more in a most powerful listeners probably don't know French, and if they're curious to what these words actually look like, this video doesn't help much. Kinda way. So how do we avoid doing this? Well, I'm going to tell you in 3, 2, rule number 1, you want to pick a font that's easy to read. Something extremely stylized might work if you're showing the band logo and song title, but when we're talking about text that's going to be like moving and changing constantly, you want something that puts minimal visual restraint on the viewer. Though serif fonts are really good at creating the flow of reading, those are better for like big blocks of text. You know, like books or newspaper. You might also look into sans serif fonts, the main difference that they're not wearing shoes. Naughty. For free! Common fonts like Arial are pretty sleek and easy to read. It's of course overused, but it's used often for a reason. But can flow extremely well if edited correctly. Try for something that isn't heavily stylized. And bonus point if you use something that's dyslexic friendly. Fun fact, Comic Sans is one of those fonts that's very dyslexic friendly. It's also one of the few fonts for people that's easy to read if they have dyslexia. And if you're anti-Comic Sans, I'll make sure it's on your tombstone. You will be remembered as a clown, and also people can read your name. And here I want to add a little disclaimer warning. Sure, you could pick like the fanciest font and use that if it fits the vibe of your video. But between the simplest of Comic Sans, the most complex cursive, you should find a font that's somewhere like in the middle, a little bit to the left. Like, you know, people should be able to read it. Also, a second disclaimer, if you're just downloading fonts on the internet all willy-nilly, remember to read the license! Yes, the fonts are free to download, but that doesn't mean that they're free to use. This is why when I choose fonts, I go to thefonts.com and choose a font that's either public domain or 100% free. Because these are given out and can be used for free. If you want to use a fancy font that costs money, then, you know, buy it and support the creator. But remember, you don't need something that costs money. Something simple and free that even comes free with your PC can work spectacular. But oh, one day I will afford you another danger font. Yes, that font's not free to use. Read the rules. Rule number 2. You should also keep the block of text on screen as small, digestive chunks and not an overwhelming large paragraph. The rule of thumb is to go line by line, maybe even 2 or 3 lines if the song is sung at a fast pace. The words need to be on screen long enough for the viewer to recognize what they're hearing and seeing, and not a second longer. Kinda like a closed captioning rule. Rule number 3. You should create a contrast between your words and your background. The easiest way is to make the font color very distinct from your background color. If you want to use a font color that's similar to your background color, that's gonna create visual cacophony, but if you really want to, use a thick black outline or a drop shadow. It will also make it easier for your words to pop out. Simple rule of thumb, if the background is bright, use black text. If the background is dark, use white text or any similar bright color. You can add color, and lots of color if you want, but unless it fits the vibe, it's going to look like a children's coloring book. I know most of you color nerds are probably saying right now,
Ayo Andri, what about your own lyric videos? I've seen them and you use color in the text on those. Then also what about your patron saint and goddess Ariana Grande? She has color in the text in that video you like so much too.
First of all, you have eyes. Good job. But second, notice that the background is dark while the text is bright, and also the bright color of the text matches the inside of her jacket. It's connected! The video has an intentionally limited color palette. Also, my own personal hot take, I think colored text works much better in live action. It's why most of my lyric videos only has white or black text depending on the background color. But some of my live action stuff like Deviant, that's more of a bright yellow, egg white-ish text, but it also fits more with the color grading of the video. Hot take over. And finally, you want to make sure that the text moves in a predictable and consistent pattern. This will also allow the readers to easily digest the words at the pace presented. Like with the Ariana Grande song, the text is 99% consistent at the bottom of the screen. And each word shows up right as it's being said in the song. At least until the bottom's filled up, and at that point it will start again. Almost the typewriter style. A lot of lyric videos go for center alignment, which works well, but you also need to keep in mind how you will juxtapose the art and the background asset with your text. And also, be careful with how much animation you use. One awful example is Calm Down Juliet by Sycamore, which oh fuck, stop shaking so much! You definitely don't want people to look at your text like they just got off the spinning teacup ride. If you want to add shakes, keep them subtle and center aligned with the text. And what's next? Well, the limits are those of your imagination. If you only have 1 or 2 art assets, then there are plenty of ways you can crop and juxtapose them in a way to make the video feel alive. Take for example the lyric video for Vampire by Deco27. It's literally just a single artwork, yet the text is animated in a very interesting way that just makes the whole thing feel alive. You now have a lyric video. Great! Make sure that before you ship it off, you run it off to some people to make sure that it looks good. But also, accessible. If people with limited vision and delayed processing can understand the words on screen, great, it's a success. But also, if you're someone that makes constant spelling errors, it helps having someone look at the video to catch those flaws. It's easy to get numb when you're staring at the same scene over and over and over and over again, so ask for help. Because you don't want your lyric video to ship off, and the most common comment to get is people pointing out your great spelling and grammar error. The one that bothers my partner the most is the lyric video for Blood of Bannockburn by Sabaton. Where the lyric "as the hammer lost its crown" uses the wrong it's. Like when we're talking about possessive form of words, like 99% of the time you're gonna use an apostrophe. But it's not when the word it is possessive. This may seem tangential, but this is something that keeps my partner up at night. This grammatical error has haunted their dreams 4 times a week in a row, and I've heard no end of it. Fix your spelling error, Sabaton! Part 4. Making the lyric video to Skater Boy 2. We now have a theory, so it's time for me to take that into practice and make my own lyric video. I'm gonna use a song from my Eggpunk EP to demonstrate this. Since it's a song in a DIY genre, it should demonstrate that you don't need a whole lot to make a lyric video of your own. The song we'll be using is about a guy who travels back in time to kill the inventor of the skateboards. Or was it roller skates? I kind of forgot. My partner will create a singular illustrations for this that I will be using to crop and animate in interesting ways. So this singular artwork will be used as the focus of the lyric video. So what are we waiting for? Let's make a lyric video! Hey, Andri! Yes, you, the one editing this. Make the lyric video. Now. Yes! The first thing you want to do before you open up a project is to do a bit of prep work. The first thing you need is of course an instrumental of the song with no vocals. Then a render of just a drum track. And then a render of just the vocals. And of course the full song itself for the final render. The reason you want to do this is so we can add rhythm markers with the drum hits, and having just the vocals makes it easier to sync up the words. If you don't have access to those song files or project files, then you need to ask whoever has it to fix those renders. Second step is to have the lyrics ready. Simply have them in a text document or on your browser. That way you can easily copy-paste the lyrics into the video project. And next you want to prep the files you're gonna use in the lyric video. If you have an album cover or a single cover you can use, then use that. If the artist has organized it so the cover is drawn with different layers, then you can render them as separate images and create simple animation around it. For me, I'm just gonna use one drawing, and that's a drawing that my partner made for me for this song. And lastly, you want to pick your font. If you have something already that comes free with the PC, great! If you want to download a font, just remember to double check if it's actually free. For example, the font I'm using is Intensa Fuente that I used in my Eggpunk video, because it was fitting and it's 100% free. Having the same elements such as font and color scheme through multiple lyric videos will make the Eggpunk EP look more like a cohesive project. Just look at what Calabrese did with their Death Cult's EP lyric videos. It's all made with the same format, which can make making multiple lyric videos an easier process. The video editor I'm gonna suffer with is Premiere Pro, but you can easily make what I make in any video editing program. All the early Pagefire videos were made with Vegas Pro up until I switched with how to make crustpunk. You can also try out free video editors like DaVinci Resolve. Just make sure to look up tutorials on how to use it. Don't ask me. Alright, we got the song, we got the text, and we got the art. So now we just need the idea. I want to keep this lyric video as simple as possible to illustrate how much you can do with limited resources. So I'm gonna do this lyric video the same way I did the horror punk songs. Text in the middle, white text with black borders, and mustard yellow background. The verses and the chorus are gonna be very distinct. Verses will have 2 or 3 lines. The choruses will have the last word be larger to create a bit of a punch. I'll animate the skater boy behind the text and focus on different parts of his gear. Then give all the text very simple animation. And then top it off with some royalty-free effects. And then finish it with some simple touches like dirt animation on the background, the intro text, and some extra small details. Alright, time to set up the Premiere project. First I put all the audio tracks in and sort them so that the drums and vocals are at the bottom. Then I set the full song to solo and start planting markers. Then I use the drum track to reposition the markers exactly on the hit, cause Adobe kinda sucks with syncing the markers to the hit automatically. The markers will help us easily find the verses and the choruses. It will also make certain things easier to snap to the rhythm of the song. Then I started adding in the text, making sure I have the right font and adjust them to the middle of the screen. So having this grid right here helps a lot. Then I added my background and I can already see that the white text is impossible to read, so I added in the black borders. As an experiment, I experimented if I wanted borders or drop shadow, and I found the borders to be much easier on the eyes. Then came the long process of adding and syncing the text. I made a rule that if the text didn't fit in 2 lines, I would make it 3 lines instead. This process can take around half an hour or an hour depending on how much text you have in the song and how you want to sync it. After all the text is added, I double check to make sure that all the text is synced and ready, while also maybe seeing if there's some spelling errors I need to fix. Then I decided to add a very basic animation to the text. All I did was making it zoom out a little bit and shake for around 8 frames. Then I added a very subtle directional blur to make it hit a bit harder. Once I was satisfied, I copied the effect from one track and added it to all the lyrics. Then it was time to add the skater boy. My goal with this drawing is to have him just glide from one position to another on each section of the lyrics. Then I added a bit of movement with Premiere Composer to add some transition shots so that when it goes from one section of text, it goes to another one without me having to animate the text. This program is also free, by the way. This is also done in a way so that when it cuts to the next section, I can easily make the art asset change from one position to another. So we can focus on the laser gun, the skateboard, and the face. And then I added a very subtle shadow around the background. Then I used this Premiere plugin to add a royalty-free video effect on some areas such as the chorus to give it a fancier flair. After that I added a few dirt textures and filtered the fuck out of it to give it a bit of grit. And also done so the yellow background had some variety. And then finally, I fixed an intro for the video that shows the Pagefire logo and the song name. And now solo the main song, hit render, get irritated that it keep fucking crashing, and then fix it, re-render, send it to people for grammar correction and making sure they can read the lyrics, and then you can upload it to YouTube, and then rake in that sweet engagement, so make sure to click like and subscribe and watch the video. Whoa!
He was once a skater boy, but now he's a skater man. He's gonna kill the inventor of the skateboard with all of his nice plans. The time-traveling science man with invention built by his goons. Roller skate made of moon rocks from the dark side of the moon. Check the oxygen, check the fuel tank on the laser beam. Put on the jumpsuits and don't get affected by the laser stream. Going back in time to the father of the skate. Going back in time, and it's time to meet his fate.
Part 5, conclusion. Yeah, this is the end. Hopefully with this brief insight into the history of the lyric video along with these examples should inspire you enough to make your own lyric video that's grammatically correct, accessible, and good. If you did it right, you created a lyric video with heavy replay value that people will genuinely enjoy watching. If you're just starting out, then it won't be the most spectacular production, but you will get better with practice. You know, just look at my own old lyric videos. Hell, look at this one. Oh, that one's, you can stop staring now. It's best to look at what other people are doing and dissect them for yourself, seeing what works and what doesn't work. Just don't look at mine. No! If none of this was new information for you, but you still watched until now, then thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment on what your favorite lyric video is and why. If anyone followed this as an actual tutorial, feel free to go to the Pagefire Discord server and share your work. Link in the description, which might actually be here now because YouTube is changing its layout again, so you know, just wherever it is. I want to give a huge shout out to the love of my life, LovelyMetalhead, who has been a huge inspiration for this video, who gave me the idea and helped me with half the script. I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah. And I also want to give an extra shout out to the Discord server for giving me some lyric video suggestion. This has been Andri, and I don't have an outro yet. Bye!